Hello everyone, welcome back to Pabbly. So in this video we are going to understand how to generate blogs and articles in Notion database with Google Generative AI. So are you also a content creator? Then this video is definitely for you. So over here I'm a same and I'm running a travel blog and I'm managing my content calendar with the help of my Notion account. And also you know that brainstorming the post ideas is so time consuming, especially the research phase. So to reduce this time we are going to create a connection between Notion, Gemini and again Notion. So over here I want that as soon as I upload a new prompt over here in my Notion database, automatically with the help of Google Gemini, the content should be generated and that content should be added in my Notion database again. So to do all of this, we are going to use an amazing automation software which is Pabbly Connect. We are going to do all of this process without knowing any programming or coding language. So if you also wish to learn this process step by step, then let me take you to my computer screen. Welcome to my screen. So as you know, in this video we are going to understand how to generate blogs/articles in Notion database with Google Generative AI. So as you know that I'm a content creator running a travel blog and I use Notion to manage my content calendar. So as you know that brainstorming post ideas and jotting down interesting travel destinations can be really time consuming, especially the research phase. So to do this we are going to create a simple connection between our Google Generative AI and Notion so that AI can generate drafts that include basic information, saving me a significant research and writing time. So this gives me more time to make my articles amazing by adding my own stories and experiences. So as you can see that I've already added the prompt right over here in my Notion database, and now I want that with the help of Google Generative AI, automatically the content should be generated and added right over here. So to do all of this, we have successfully opened the landing page of Pabbly. Simply by searching pabbly.com/connect in my browser, it is very easy. So as soon as we'll open the landing page of Pabbly, we are going to get two options. One is sign in and the another one is sign up for free. So if you are a new user, you can click on sign up for free and you are going to get 100 of tasks free every month. But I'm an existing user, so I'm going to click on sign in right over here. And now it is opening all Pabbly apps. Over here you can see all the tools and applications offered by Pabbly. But in today's video, we are going to use Pabbly Connect because we are connecting different applications. So I'm going to click on access now right over here to access my Pabbly Connect account. And as you can see then now it is opening my dashboard. And to start with the automation, we are going to click on this button which says create workflow. And now it is asking me the workflow name and the folder I want to save the workflow in. So I want to save the workflow in this folder which is automations, and I want to name my workflow as generate blogs or articles in Notion database with Google Generative AI. And then we are going to click on this button which says create. And now it is opening the most important window for our automation, that is our workflow window. This is the most important window because we have trigger and action in this. So trigger means when this happens and action means do this. So by this you can understand that the trigger is the commander for the workflow and actions follow the commands. And as you know that we can have only a single commander but multiple followers. So where we can have only a single trigger but multiple actions following the commands of our trigger. So now we are going to select our trigger application which is Notion, because I want that as soon as I update a new prompt in my Notion database, automatically my workflow should be triggered. So I'm going to search for it and then we are going to select it. And now for the trigger event, we are going to select it as new database item. And now we are going to click on connect to connect our Notion account, and it is saying add a new connection or select the existing connection. So if you have already connected your Notion account with your Pabbly's workflow, you can click on select existing connection and then save. But if you haven't, you have to follow me, click on add a new connection and then connect with Notion. And over here you can see that it is asking me for some permissions. So we are going to give the permissions Pabbly is asking for because our data is secure with Pabbly. So first I'm going to click on select pages. So I'm going to give Pabbly only the permission of the selected pages. So I'm going to select my page right from here, which is this prompts for Google Generative AI. Over here you can see that this is my page. So I'm going to select the same in my Notion. And then we are going to click on allow access. If you wish, you can select multiple pages right over here also. And as soon as we are going to click on allow access, you can see that we have successfully connected our Notion account with our Pabbly's workflow. And over here you can see it is saying database ID and it has already selected my page. And now as soon as I'm going to click on save and send test request, Pabbly will capture the latest response or the last response made in my Notion account, because Notion is a polling based application. So polling based application means that this trigger will only check for new data in some amount of time. It will not check for new data instantly. And over here in the case of Notion, it will take 8 hours to check for for new data. So as soon as I'm going to click on save and send test request, Pabbly will capture the last response made in my Notion account. So first I'm going to click on save and send test request, and I'll show you the response received. And yes, over here you can see the response received. Over here you can see the prompt that we entered in our Notion database. So yes, with this our trigger step is successful. But before moving into our action step, I'll just let you know that it is saying this trigger will check for new data in 8 hours. But if you wish to reduce this time, we can go on this 3 dots and then set trigger time. And over here you can see that we can select the trigger time minimum with 90 minutes and maximum as 24 hours. So I'm going to select it as 90 minutes and then we are going to click on save. So now my Notion trigger will check for new data in 90 minutes. So yes, with this our trigger step is successful, and now we are moving on to our action step. So for our action application, we are going to select Google Generative AI because I want to generate content with every new prompt updated in my Notion database. So I'm going to search for Google Generative AI, and as you can see the same, so we are going to select it. And now for the action event, we are going to select it as generate content, and then we are going to click on connect. And again it is asking me for the same. So if you have already connected a Google Generative AI account with your Pabbly's workflow, you can click on select existing connection and then save. But if you haven't, you have to again follow me, click on add a new connection, and now it is asking me for the API key. So to get this API key, we are going to follow the help text, and it is saying enter the API key here. To obtain the API key, log into your Google AI Studio. So over here we are going to click on this hyperlink to log into our Google AI Studio. And now you can see that we have successfully opened our Google AI Studio with the help of the hyperlink provided in our help text. And after opening this, over here you can see generate API key in the left sidebar. So we are going to click on this. And as you can see that I've already created some API keys, but I'm going to create a new. So I'm going to click on create API key right over here. And then it is asking me to select the Google Cloud project. So I'm going to select it right over here. I'm going to select it as Pabbly testing. And then we are going to click on create API key in existing project. And yes, you can see generating API key, and over here is the API key we wished for. So I'm going to copy this API key, and then we are going to paste this same key in our workflow right over here. And after pasting this key, we are going to click on save. And as soon as we are going to click on save, you can see that we have successfully connected our Google Generative AI account with our Pabbly's workflow. And now it is asking me for the text. So we are going to map the prompt right over here. So mapping is a method by Pabbly, which means inserting the data from the previous step. And as you know, our previous step was the trigger step, where we selected Notion as our trigger application. So we are going to map the details from the response of our Notion only. And as soon as we are going to map these details, automatically my details will turn dynamic and change with every new database item updated in my Notion. So I'm going to give you an example that over here in front of text, if I'm going to enter XYZ manually, suppose this. So if I'm going to enter the prompt like this manually, then this will not change with every new database item updated, because this is a static information and I've entered it manually. But if I'm going to map it from the previous response, over here you can see our prompt. So if I'm going to map it right from here, then this will definitely change because my previous response will also change. So that's why we do mapping, so that we can run our workflow in real time. And now it is asking me for the model. So I'm going to select the model as Gemini Pro right over here. And then we are going to move on forward for the methods. And now it is asking me for the method. So I wish to generate the content. So that's why I'm going to select generate content right over here. So I'm going to select it, and then we are going to click on save and send test request. And yes, you can see that we have received the response. Over here is the answer Gemini gave us. So we are going to map this same response in the next action step, because I want to add this same response right over here in my content field. So yes, with this action step is successful. Now we are going to move on forward, add another action step. And this time for the action application, again we are going to select Notion. So I'm going to search for it, and then we are going to select it. And now for the action event, we are going to select it as update page, and then we are going to click on connect again. And as you can see that again it is asking me for the same. So I've already connected my Notion account recently, so I'm going to click on select existing connection and then save. And yes, you can see that we have connected, and over here you can see the database, which is prompts for Google Generative AI. We are going to move on forward. It is asking me for the page ID. So we are going to map it. So I'm going to search for ID right over here. And as you can see that this is the page ID. So we have to map this right over here. So now after mapping the page ID, it is asking me for the content. So over here you can see content and prompt. So these are the same details I've entered in my Notion. So yes, I'm going to map the content right over here from the response of my Google Generative AI. AI. So I'm going to open the response, and as you can see that this was the answer received, so I'm going to map it. So we are going to map this because I want to add this same right over here in my Notion. So that's why I'm going to add this, and now it is asking me for the prompt, but as you can see that I've already entered the prompt. I just want to add the content. So that's why I'm going to leave it as blank, and then we are going to click on save and send test request. And yes, you can see that we have received the positive response that we have successfully added this content in our Notion database. So I'm going to open my Notion and check that if we have added the content there or not. So I'm going to open my Notion, and yes, you can see that we have successfully added the content right over here. So this was the answer we received from our Google Generative AI action step. So yes, with this our workflow is successful, and I'll just summarize the workflow for you once. So for our trigger application, we selected Notion. For the trigger event, we selected new database item. For the action application, we selected Google Generative AI, and then for the action event, we selected generate content, and then again for the action application, we selected Notion, and then for the action event, we selected update page, because I wanted that as soon as a new database item is created in my Notion account, which is that as soon as I add the prompt right over here in my Notion account, automatically with the help of Google Generative AI, the content should be generated, and that content should be added in my Notion database. And yes, we were successful with our workflow. Over here you can see that the content I added with the help of my workflow, and now I can save a lot of amount of time and focus on the things that matter. So now in every 90 minutes Pabbly will check for new data, and suppose if you are going to add another prompt right over here, automatically Pabbly will capture the response and send that prompt to our Google Generative AI, and then Google Generative AI will generate the content related to that prompt, and automatically it is going to be updated in my Notion again. So if you have any questions related to the workflow or the video, you can directly comment on this video. And for your reference, I'll just clone this workflow and share the workflow link in the description box so that you can access my workflow. Thank you for watching. Not only these applications, but with the help of Pabbly, you can integrate many more applications. So now, if you have any doubts, you can reach us at support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can reach us at forum.pabbly.com. And if you have any pricing related issues, you can follow this website. And if you find our videos helpful, do like and subscribe our channel. Thank you for watching.